right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah. Coming with a awesome lesson. Not only is it awesome, it's beautiful because in the process of me doing a study, the Ruach taught me so much, so much. Now, these are things I really can say that I really didn't know a lot of. And when I say that, because it's something I never covered before. So it's something that I'm glad that I did hear someone speak on this morning, but it was the topic that I listened to because I didn't really get to, I think I got into it he was on there for about an hour and 14 minutes, but I think I listened to if 3 minutes of his lesson. I try not to get, if it's good, really, really good, but the moment I start the lesson and I see someone speaking and they speaking some truth, but once they steer off to the other side, Sister Deborah back up. But what I liked about was his topic. His topic was to be saved. Can you be saved and lost? Can you be saved and still lost? That's what he said. So I like that topic because that's something that I thought would be a wonderful thing to talk about this evening. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to cover this message and I'm going to cover it the way the Spirit taught it to me this evening when I've been in my study. And the topic is, can one be saved and lost at the same time? Can one be saved and lost at the same time? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down on even being live because what people like to do is come in and play up in the corner and come in just all throughout. I know I posted this like 4 hours ahead of time. So it really doesn't, it's not going to affect me because I'm going to be obedient to y'all. I'm about to break this thing down. Okay. And I'm excited. I am excited about it. But only thing about it is maybe I just shouldn't have went live. And I might need to just cut out going live because it seems as if this is where you can tell people are caught up in a lot of things and to where nothing affect them. Now, let me tell you something. Say, for instance, I made a video and I said, let's see, Michael Jackson is Satan, or Michael Jackson, let me see, anything about Michael Jackson. If I put that in my title, I'm going to tell y'all what I'm learning now. I'm still learning, but I'm learning how dark people are, how they flip-flop. You see? You don't know if they're going or if they're coming. You don't know if they're in or if they're out. And like I say, I am a servant of the Most High Yah. I speak what I'm about to speak to serve him. Okay? But what I'm about to talk about is, can one be saved? That's a powerful message in itself. Just that verse right there. And lost at the same time. At that time, with that type of title, you should have had individuals lining up way ahead of time. You see? But what you get is exactly what he said. Exactly what he said. Decrease, Deborah. Don't go toward the increase. Decrease. Now, like I said, if I would have put a title and said something like Michael Jackson is Satan, or something about Satan, or something about something evil, or something about somebody talking about. Say if I put how would I TD Jakes this, they will be lining up. And I'm not talking about people who have not heard Sister Deborah, or people who never came to the page. I'm showing you the one that comes to the page, they're no different than the one that don't. Ain't never been to my page. They're no different, because what I'm telling you, when Yah said he's telling me he's bringing light out of darkness, out of the midst of darkness, he meant that. He meant that the brightest things they were weaned from. And it's not important, you see. So what I might do, and I'm really thinking about it. I haven't been on live, I think probably 3 or 4 days, but I might just cut off live and just upload my videos like I've been doing. And I also, like tonight, I will do 3 videos, and then I will swing them in tomorrow. That's how I've been doing it. It seemed to work really good for me, because a lot of people don't understand, when you walk in the spirit and you do the serving of Yah, you don't do it whenever you feel like it. I get around to it. It ain't like that. You see, when you're doing it right, you do get tied up. You do have a heavy load, because you're trying to give people the food for their spirit. You see, not so much as what you just like I see a lot of people on these platforms. They doing 5 and 6 videos a day, and they making sure all the videos are up. But what are they talking about? Most of them are talking about the worldly matters. But then you got those that think that they say that they're about the Most High Yah, or about being a Christian and talking about Jesus Christ. The stuff that they're teaching has no power. It has no light. You get what I'm saying? So it to me, people don't know if they want to be with Yah or be away from him. They want to be in 1 minute and out the next. They don't know what they want. And this is why I understand fully when he say to his prophet, decrease. That means look at that in everything. Now, I really didn't want to look at the decrease in everything. Y'all didn't want me to just look at the decrease on the platform. He wanted me to look at it as a whole, because that's how he rumbled. He wanted me to look at it in the natural and in the spirit. Meaning, watch out, even in the natural, you're going to see the decrease. That's why I was kind of, death itself. And then you're going to also see the decrease in the spirit realm. You see? So it's both ways he's showing you. But what I have said before, I've seen it. I've seen it. People don't know if they want to be in, if they want to be out. 1 minute they in, next minute they out. 1 minute they in, next minute they out. But guess what came to me today when I was out and about? He said to me that the reason for that is people's heart is not where they think it is at. Because remember, in the eyes of a man, they are good. Because their natural mind tell them they in there. They doing the serving of Yah. They in there. But they put him on the tail end. They put everything of their living on the front end. I catch him on the tail end when I get around to it. When I get to my tail, I catch him on that end. Is that a sad thing? That's a horrible thing. It is a horrible thing. But when you do it like a servant of Yah, Yah give you strength. He shows you way of how you can do it, and you be about what he have you to be about. And I find myself, if I skip a day or two and I come back, it always seems like there's something being taught, and yet seem like I'm repeating what somebody else is saying. This is also a part of how the spirit is working in the midst. You see, he works in the midst that way. So when somebody is saying something similar to what you're saying, or saying something like you're saying, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, because Only the Spirit of Yah knows what needs to be heard. You get what I'm saying? And I asked him, I said, but Father, it looks like you're speaking because somebody else speaking, and you look like you're coming in when someone else comes in. And he said, no, but it's not. I said, but it's not the way it is, but the way it's appear. He said, don't look at it like that. Don't look at it like that. Because he knows what people need to hear, whether it's the one or two or whatever. But if it's the one, he knows what they need to hear. Okay, so it's not something that you only hear it this way and you only hear it that way. No, he needs it, all the light to spring out of the midst of darkness in this day. But what I'm thinking about is just cutting out on live and just do the videos like he's shown me how comfortable it is. Like, I got one video up. I'm going to put two more up. And all I do is drop them in that day slot or that evening or that night slot. So where that time come up, bam, it shoots out the video. And it seems to work really well. And it gives me time to really focus and wait on Yah to give me something else, for him to download things in me. One thing he did give me, the reason why I had brought up Michael Jackson is because it shows you how certain things triggers views and trigger people. When I don't know what y'all know, sister don't give a rat's behind what trigger people. Because if you're telling me it's your topic that you if you write a certain your topic determines who's going to view and who's going to see it. I don't need that. That's for the world. And that's how they do it. That's how they rumble. I'm for the spirit. So I'm bringing a topic to kind of bring food to the spirit and wake up the spirit and give the spirit some light. That's where my topics reside. And in spite of it, even YouTube itself knows that my topic is stronger than any other topic on this platform. That's why they keep the people away. You see, they pull it only in a certain area to make sure it's not heard. So I realized that people really tune in when it's a topic that they really want to rush to hear. But it shouldn't be like that, because you're doing your flesh. When it's in your spirit, it's food for your spirit. It's not food for your flesh. But that's the way the world does it. They based on what they're going to watch, based on the topic. You see? So this topic that I have, it says, can one be saved and lost at the same time? That's a very powerful spiritual message. Okay? Where did I get it from? Another man he's a pastor, but he's supposed to be a scholar. He teaches Greek and Hebrew, and I mean he seemed to have all the books, but he said one saved. No, it says saved and lost at the same time. That's his topic. Saved and lost at the same time. I'm putting it, can one be saved and lost at the same time? When I began to chime in to what he was saying, notice what I was going after. Saved and lost. See, that's how Sister Deborah view people. She ain't going on all this mess and playing this stuff, you see? And if even him, for at least 3 to 4 minutes, when I saw that he was going on another direction, I shot off of it. Why? Because that topic took a hold of me right there. You see, that topic alone. But when I said, can one be saved and lost at the same time, seemed like me myself would have thought that surely I want to know what this is about. But you see what I'm saying? But let me say, Michael Jackson is Satan's son. You watch everyone that has subscribed to Deborah, they'll be up there. They'll be right there. They might be hiding up in the corner where I can still see them. They don't know that, though. But they will come. And they ain't coming in at the last minute. They waiting up in the slot. But that just shows you how people are worldly and calling themselves spiritual at the same time. They don't know if they're going or coming. They just playing the game. This topic is, can one be saved and lost at the same time? I'm starting from Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 through 10. And when the Father was putting it on my heart to really do my study in this, and his Ruach was teaching me while I was studying, boy, he brought so much. Father, I just thank you, Lord, Father. I just thank you. Oh, he brought so much revelation and clarity to what he was. I had not known these things, y'all. And that's why I say, if I felt that way about y'all telling me, because the topic itself, I couldn't wait, because I saw that man speaking that was this morning, and I heard him from in between 3 to 4 minutes. But all day I've been thinking about that topic, and that's probably why when I sat down and start to really do my study, and the Ruach started speaking to me and teaching me, I was so delighted. Just the topic, the name, it's a topic itself. Can one be saved and lost at the same time? You're going to find out something about yourself. You're going to really find out really where you stand. Okay? Ephesians chapter 2. In the book of Ephesians chapter 2, we're going to go from verse 8 to 10. And it says in verse 8, for by grace are ye saved through faith. By grace are ye saved through faith. Okay. Now, what many of us don't understand, I had it down here, was grace itself. What is grace? I had it wrote down. I thought I had it wrote down. Let me get it again so I don't know what my son is calling for. Let me get it again, because I thought I had it. I did have it. It's just on a separate paper. And I think I want to show you. If anybody, no, I'm not gonna ask anybody, because this here is, I already had it. Okay, watch this here. By Ephesians. Oh, that's really good. I love that. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 through 10. Verse 8 says, for by grace are ye saved through faith. I really like that, because when just stopping at grace and knowing what grace mean in Hebrew, meaning the way that it was said and the purpose of it, using that word grace is place grace, but to know the way it was said back in the day, it was called favor. By the favor are ye saved. Favor. Say, for instance, you have a favorite sweet, or you have a favorite drink, or you have a favorite type of meat that you like, or a favorite song. But listen to this. For by grace are ye saved through faith. Look what grace has to detach to be saved. Now, see, I wasn't even supposed to say that one. Father, where are you going with this? You finna go so deep, I'm going to get lost. I wasn't planning on saying that, but it came out that way. But if you really look at that again, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. For by grace, which is for by favor, are ye saved through faith. Who's favoring us? Favor. Favor. By grace are ye saved. Through something. See, can you just be saved by grace? No. It got to come through. Faith, one of the brands. And that not of yourself. Listen to what it says. And that, let me get that, make sure that's what it said, because it's and that not of yourself. What is he saying when he said yourself? See, I'm breaking this thing down. Not of yourself mean not of that flesh. Not of that flesh. It is a gift of Yah. A gift of Yah. What is a gift of Yah, Deborah? The grace. That's his favor. Saved. That belongs to him. And faith. Those are Yah's gifts, not yours. So can we, one say, be saved and lost at the same time? That's our topic. Can one be saved and lost at the same time? Now, just listening to Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 8 through 10, and we only gotten to 8. When it says by grace, now we know that grace is, I had it already wrote down. It was more than just favor, but favor was the main one. Favor. Are ye saved? Through what? Wait a minute. It already told you by grace. That's who Yah. He has the favor. He is grace. He's the one make the choice. Who he favored are saved through faith. And that not of yourselves, meaning move that flesh out the way. Verse 9. Not of works, lest any man shall boast. How many knows that the grace, saved, and faith is a gift from Yah? This is the problem that I have when I'm even speaking every time I'm on this devil platform. Trying to get people to understand, baby, it ain't you. So the game you want to play is a game you play with yourself. Keep going in circles playing that game. This thing is bigger than you can even imagine. And you know what? It's just that easy. To me, I guess I can say that, huh? But it's just that easy. Watch this here. And it says, let's go back to 8. I forgot to go over that. And it's not of yourselves. That means it's not your flesh. It is the gift of Yah. So now we got to go back to the kingdom. And understand, baby, this ain't got nothing to do with you. While you run around here thinking, I know I got a key to the kingdom. I know I'm saved. I know I'm full of the Holy Ghost. Whole time. How dare you say those things when the gift is the gift of Yah? You ain't glorifying him. You glorifying the idea that, hey, I got this. I'm saved. I'm full of the Holy Spirit. I got the Ruach HaKodesh. You speaking self. I thank the Father that he has given me his Ruach and give him the glory on top of thanking him. So you're letting yourself know it ain't got nothing to do with me. This is real. This is a gift of Yah. Grace, saved, and faith has nothing to do with you. And it says that not of yourself. So he's letting you know, move that flesh out of my way. Don't come giving that flesh who I am. Okay. Verse 9 says, not of works. You know why I said not of works? Let you know, not the work of your flesh either. So that's why I say people thinking, oh, and I know I'm saved. I know I'm going to Mount Zion. I know I got the keys to the kingdom. I know I got a ticket to eternity. All I know is that he know me and he lives in me. He corrects me. He disciplines me. He showed me the way to his light. He teach me spirit and truth. All this is him. Okay, so in verse 9, it says, not of works. It's speaking of the works of the flesh. Not of works. He's speaking of the works of the flesh. Watch this. Lest any man shall boast. Lest any shall boast. That's what people do in the flesh. That's what he's talking about. The works, not works. That's works of the flesh. Lest any, wait a minute, let me get this here right. Verse 9, lest any man, there it is, that's what I'm missing, shall boast. I like that because that's exactly what Warren is letting you know. When you finished talking about save and grace and faith, he letting you know that's a gift of Yah, not of you. Okay, now verse 10, for we are his workmanship. Now, what workmanship is that if it says not of your works? Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 10. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Yeshua unto good works. Did not in verse 2 says, verse 9 says, not of your works. He letting you know that's the work of your flesh who think you somebody that you ain't. You see? But what does he say in verse 10? For we are workmanship created in Christ Yeshua unto good works. Well, what works is that, Father, if it's not of our works? Deborah, that's the work of the Spirit. You know why? That was the work that you were gifted. That's the purpose that he put in you before the foundation of the world. That's that work. Okay? Which Yah has before ordained that we shall walk in them. What is that? What we were created in Christ Yeshua. Until good works. Those are the good works. Those are the spiritual works. Yah has before the foundation of the world, ordained that we should walk in them. This is a separate work than verse 9. Total different. Verse 9 speaking of the flesh. Verse 8 speaking of the flesh when it says, and not of yourself, meaning flesh. It is the gift of Yah. Verse 9 says, not of works. That means you can't get this. You receive these gifts of grace and being saved through faith by works. He's still speaking of the works of your flesh. Lest any man shall boast. He letting you know, flesh. Because that's the only one can boast is the flesh. Okay? He comes down to verse 10. It says, for we are workmanship created. I had to stop right there. Because guess why I had to stop? I had to understand what the workmanship, what he mean when he said workmanship created. He said, Deborah, that's my right hand. That right hand. That's that type of power that created the workmanship, his workmanship. He created us in Christ. You see, he created all things, but he letting you know that that are by grace and are saved through faith is the workmanship of my right hand created in Yeshua. I mean, Hamashiach, Yeshua, which Yeshua is the power. Okay? Until what? How did he create you? Good works. Which Yah has before the foundation of the world ordained that we shall walk in what? In what? The workmanship, as workmanship created by him, by his right hand, in the power. Also where Yeshua is in. See, when we are that oneness, we must always understand Hamashiach, then Yeshua, and then us. You see what I'm saying? Yeshua is in it with us as a oneness. Okay? But Christ, that's the Son of Yah, his head. You see? So he's letting you know that before the foundation, he had already ordained us to walk therein. What are we talking about? Can one be saved and lost at the same time? Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 18. Can one be lost? Can one be saved and lost at the same time? 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 18. For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness. Say that again. The preaching of the cross is for those. Wait, let me say that right. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 18. For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness. But unto us, praise the mighty Yah. You see how right then he separated them from us. Hold on. What's going on? That's what Ephesians was trying to tell us. Being saved is not the actions of our thoughts, our words, or what we say, but what the gifts of Yah. And here in 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 18, he said, the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness. Why? Because they really believe it was the cross. What took place on the cross. That's how they got saved. That's how they gained connection to Yah. But see, they didn't understand it wasn't the preaching of the cross. It was the preaching of the gospel. Because the gospel is the power of Yah that took place on the cross. Let's go over that again. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 18. For the preaching of the cross is for them that perish foolishness. But until us which are saved. Oh, see that again? Thank you, Father. Y'all. You see how he separated it? He separated into twos. Not threes, not fours, not five. He separated it into twos. He separated them from us. Ooh, what do you mean, then, Father? Who is them and who is us? Yeah, right. Which are saved, but unto us which are saved, it is the power. Woo! The power of who? Yah. All right, that's what I'm talking about. It is the power of Yah. Woo-wee. We finna get into this. Now, in 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 18, he's actually separating the one that believe it's all about the cross versus those that are us, which are saved. It is the power of Yah. Exactly what I told you that was in Ephesians chapter 2, okay, and verse 10. We were created his workmanship, created in Christ. That's that power. All right. So I can sit here and speak this. This is what you call spiritual, spirit and truth food that needs to be in the backpack and zipped up, tape it up too. Because this is something that 99 point trillion, y'all wouldn't even give them the ear to hear it and a mind to know it. Okay? He's sitting here separating it. The Father is separating something. And we missed it. Another ball dropped. We missed it because he turned around in 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 18 and separate them from us. Woo! And then turned around and said, but unto us which are saved, it is the power of Yah. What's the power of Yah? It is that right hand. It is Hamashiach. It is the Son of Yah. It is the gospel. Go back to verse 17. Let's go to verse 17. 1 Corinthians. Wait a minute, where did I get it? 1 Corinthians. Chapter 1, verse 17. Let's go there. He says, go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Now he wants us to bag back up into verse 17. We read 18. That was beautiful to me. But now we got to go into 17 so we can understand something a little more. He says, for Christ sent me not to baptize, but to preach the gospel, but with wisdom of words, lest the cross, lest the cross of Christ shall be made none effect. Woo-wee. He just told y'all something that y'all never knew. He just told you something that you never knew. Watch this here, verse 17. For Christ sent me not to baptize, okay, but to preach the gospel. This is why, and you know what? This is where you know they took out of the strolls. Because just me talking to you all, I'm getting chills. It was the power that they done away with. That's why they couldn't pick up Genesis chapter 1. They dropped the power from the beginning as well. That's why they can't understand. He said if they drop that one, Deborah, in Genesis 1, they mess up in there, they messed up the whole book. Now watch this here. So he said, go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 17. For Christ sent me not to baptize, but to preach the power, not with wisdom of words. Lest the cross of Christ should be made none effect. So he's sitting here letting you know, if you're going to preach the gospel, you better know what the gospel is. 99.15 trillion still don't know. It is the power of Yah. And when you don't know power, it's no way you're going to know his name without knowing his power. You see how lost people are? You have to know him. You can't know his name without knowing his power. You can't know his power without knowing his name. And then he says here, it's not the wisdom of the word. So he let you know how Yah is knowledge. He got spiritual knowledge, spiritual wisdom, and he is spiritual. He is all understanding. He's letting you know you can cut out wisdom words. Lest the cross of Hamashiach should be made none effect. He letting you know. Because why? Because it was supposed to be in the preaching of the power. That's what Christ is. I mean, the gospel is the preaching of the gospel, and it is the preaching of the power. Okay? And that's why it's none effect, because it people taking it to be about the cross and not about the power. Now it says here, lest the cross of Yeshua, now Hamashiach, shall be made none effect. Why? Because if you're not preaching the gospel, you done took the power from Hamashiach. Because it's about the power that brought the cross to existence. So how can we talk about the cross without the power? It's none effect. You can't say Hamashiach. You got to understand what Hamashiach is. And that's why he says here in 17, but to the preaching of the gospel. And what, let's go there. Romans chapter 1. That's here, and the poor man, they crucified Paul all over again. So they think. In Romans chapter 1, and I love this because I like how he said in verse 16. In Romans chapter 1 and verse 16, he says, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Hamashiach. You know what he said? I'm not ashamed of his power. I'm not ashamed of Christ's power. Watch this here. Now watch this here. Listen to what he said. Verse 16. For it is what? What does it say? For it is the power of Yah. You see? The gospel is the power of Yah. And if you think that you can teach and preach without the power, then therefore you don't know him. And if you don't know him by the Son of Yah being the power, Hamashiach, then you lost. You terribly lost. And it's going back to the topic. Can one be saved and lost at the same time? It's going to blow your mind when I'm done. Okay? Now, see, Paul just said it. Paul in Romans chapter 1 and verse 16. I am not ashamed of the gospel of Hamashiach, which is Christ. What do you mean, the gospel of? The power of Hamashiach, Deborah. I'm not ashamed. Why? For it is the power of who? Yeah. That's what people are doing. They're teaching the cross. They think they teaching and preaching the gospel, and it cannot be done without the power. And they're doing it all over the world. And you're going to tell me Christians being prosecuted. For what? For what? Only one I can grip that being prosecuted would be me. All my brothers lost their life doing the same thing I'm doing, serving the Most High Yah, teaching the true gospel of the power of who Yah is. So how are they being prosecuted? For what? How could this be in this day and time, in such a dark time as this, that many are being prosecuted? You better check. I mean, you better check. It's a scheme. It's a deception. Is it happening? Yes. But it's not for Yah's namesake. Because Yah's namesake is Hamashiach with the power. He said, you preach the cross if you want to. That's for the foolish. The cross don't hold the power. The power made the cross come forth. But no, y'all want to leave the cross. Y'all want to leave the power in a hole somewhere and think you're going to pull up and teach this word without the power. Use a lie from the deepest part of the pit of hell. And that's what 99.9 is doing. Y'all say, I ain't got no problem with it. It is already written where they going. Okay? So in Corinthians chapter 1, verse 18, it says, for the preaching of the cross is for them that perish. But for us, which are saved, it is the power of Yah. Ooh-wee. Let's go to Matthew's 24 and verse 12. In Matthew's chapter 24 and verse 12. In Matthew's chapter 24 and verse 12, you'll go 12 and 13. It reads, and because iniquity shall abound, and giving gave of many shall wax cold. It's already there. It's there already. And that's a lot of people wouldn't even understand that one verse. That one verse. They still wouldn't understand it. It's letting you know that the heart of the people is wax cold. That means it ain't gonna grip nothing. It's gone. It's worthless. You see? And when they teaching it in these so-called Christians and all this Catholic and all these different churches, this is what they should be teaching people this day. Because this is what Yeshua is talking about in this day. He says in verse 12, and because iniquity shall abound, meaning it's going to be all over the place. The love, I say the give and gave of many shall wax hard. No, it didn't say hard, cold. Now take some wax and let it get cold. That means it's hard. Hard. That's where their heart is at, y'all. That's where we at today. We've been there. Okay, now watch 13. Watch 13. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. He that endure until the end shall be saved. He's letting you know that Matthew's 24 has an end game. There are going to many is going to come out of it. Those are going to be the saved ones, y'all. They're going to be saved. No. Let me correct that right. Not they going to be. Those are the saved ones. Let's go. The word endure in Hebrew, Strong's 7011, assured, enduring, assured, enduring. Who are they? The saved one. Who is the saved? The one that Yah gave the gift. Saved is a gift through faith. But it's a gift. See, when I taught y'all about the 4 brand, many of you all still today don't understand it. That brand is real. Because he said, saved through faith. See, people want to go all to the highest level who the Father is and don't know, baby, wait a minute, hold up. Are you branded? What are you branded with? But they would say, yeah, I'm branded. Yeah, I got faith. Yeah, I have faith. I believe this. Baby, that's your faith in your flesh. Have you been branded with righteous belief, fear, and faith? People don't even know that faith plays a heavy role in who you are. Oh no, they don't want that. They don't believe that. That ain't worth nothing to nobody. Because they think they getting in either way it go. Can one be saved and lost at the same time? Now in Matthew 24 and verse 12 and 13, we in 13. 13 says, but he that shall endure until the end, the same, I like that. The same what? That endure until the end shall be saved. But what do endure mean? Assured and enduring. So that also shows you that we got to go through something. You think people ready? That's what all this is about that I be teaching. Is to prepare you to endure. Because you're going to do it. You'll endure whether you like it or not. At least you'll have spiritual food. You'll have the light in your right hand. Why endure and you ain't got nothing to hold on to? That's why people don't understand why people are in their life this day. To give you that which you need to long suffer, to endure. Because he knows that you need that spiritual food. You need that light. Because at the end of that dark way of this world, you're going to be saved. I wasn't planning on adding verse 13, no, verse 14. I went to Matthew 24, verse 12 and 13. He's letting you know who's going to be saved. A lot of people wouldn't even look at the word saved. You see? A lot of people wouldn't even look at it like that. But that alone tells you who saved them. Who did that? Who did that to you, Deborah? Who did that? Saved before the foundation of the world, where you grafted in the power, which is Hamashiach, along with Yeshua, before the foundation of the world. Okay, now I wasn't going to step into verse 14, but verse 14 says, for this power, look at the gospel, for this power, which is the gospel, and the gospel is the power of the kingdom, shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto the nation. Don't be on this devil platform speaking to nobody, first and foremost, without understanding the power that must rest therein. Stop teaching if you don't have the power to back it up and land it down. That's what's wrong with these devil platforms. They don't know the power. They don't care about the power. They don't have the power, and they ain't teaching the power. But yet, the multitude is following them straight to the powerful lake of hell. Okay? Now, listen to what 14 is saying. For this gospel of the kingdom. Now, wait a minute. It's saying, letting you know this gospel of the kingdom, that's the power, shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. So the Father want me to say this and step into this real hard. Stay off this platform if you're not going to teach the power that rests in anything that you preaching. It has to be the gospel. That means it has to carry the power. Okay, but listen to what he says. Shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. So what do you think? Tell these people how the power of Yah is at hand. Stop running around wanting people to see you. Let them know. I know they don't want to hear it. They want to think that, oh, America gonna get great again. He ain't coming. They just said, they've been saying that since the beginning of time. Oh, it ain't as bad as they said it is. Oh, it ain't nothing. But let me tell y'all one thing. Matthew 24 and verse 14 is me. I'm coming to preach the gospel of the kingdom to all the world. Now, when he said all the world, do you think he mean they gonna get it? Be stupid if you want to. What did I tell y'all a couple of months ago? We in the midnight hour. We in dark day. He bringing light out of the midst of darkness. So the world is dark. You think he's really doing something to help the world? No, he ain't. He's just letting you know, I'm the beginning. It was dark, I brought light. At the end, it's still dark. I'm going to bring light out of it anyway and show you who I am. It was dark when I created this earth. And I brought light. And at the end, it's still yet dark. But it's a wicked dark. And I'm going to bring light out of the midst of it. That's what he's doing. But the light is not coming to redeem you, to save you, to get you right, to get you to understand him, to get you to accept him. No, it's over. If you didn't see his light at the beginning, you ain't going to see it at the end. Where you at? Somewhere in that darkness, huh? You better check yourself. Because when he's talking here, when Yeshua's talking here, it gives you everything clear. And this gospel, verse 14, and this gospel of the kingdom, meaning the power of the kingdom, shall be preached. And that's what Sister Deborah is telling you. What did Sister Deborah say to y'all? The wrath of Yah is on the earth. The judgment of Yah is on the earth. The fire of Yah is on the earth. He's suffering lawlessness to be on the earth. Everything, he even allowed the principalities in high places to hit the earth. And y'all sitting around here clowning, thinking he got to wait on you to understand what the gospel is, to understand who Hamashiach is. You're teaching, you're believing, and you're understanding without the power. And no, it can't be done. So stop playing with yourself. So the title of this here message is, Can One Be Saved and Lost at the Same Time? I'm going to back that thing up and I'm going to land that thing down hard. Okay? So here I like it because it goes back to what he told me a couple of months ago. He said, Deborah, even though you're bringing on my behalf light out of the midst of darkness, baby, it ain't for somebody to get righteous. If they came, Deborah, from the kingdom, already branded with what I put in them, you think I'm going to wait to the end to get them to understand it? I told you in Romans chapter 1, it was in them all the time. I put it in them so they won't have no excuse. And everybody standing around clowning. Clown on. And another thing, y'all, be very careful. Because I'm going to tell you what I really see. I'm seeing people drop dead. And I'm not talking about just me standing here. I'm talking about people are dying. Big time. That's why I know it ain't about redeeming nobody, saving nobody, bringing somebody to the light. No, it's not. If you ain't at the light, you ain't going to come to the light. We're in that dark day. But he's going to bring light out of darkness. Not because he wants to make everybody get it. He said, if you drop the ball way back then, what makes you think I'm going to send my prophet? And she's going to show you the light by speaking the light and spirit and truth. And all of a sudden, you're going to pick up the ball. Go somewhere with that. You ain't going to. Okay, so here he said in 14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come to everyone. See, he ain't playing. Why would he let the gospel be preached to all the nation and then let it be the end? Wake up. That don't even make no sense. What's the sense of it? No, he said his power, earthquakes, famine, pestilence, all these things. It's the gospel. It's the power of the kingdom. Ain't no way these things can come to pass without the kingdom orchestrating it. That's that power. Everybody want to deny because they want to put everything about, make everything be about them. And then they want to be able to teach it like it's about them. It ain't about you. Okay? So where he's saying, I like that because it reminds me of what he said, that I want you to bring the light out of the midst of darkness. And when I used to wonder, well, why would you want me to do that? And if it ain't going to do nothing, help nobody, he said, it ain't going to help nobody. The light came in the midst of darkness when he was going over the sea, the water, the darkness was upon the mist. That was dark. He brought him light. See what he gave you? He gave you light. And on top of it, he gave you his own image, which is another light, which is a spirit. Come on now. What more do you want him to give you? Oh, you waiting for him to come down there as Santa Claus, right? Because everybody think, make America great. Oh, America going to get great. You know what? I'm going to tell y'all. Let's say if we had 50 billion people in America. We just saying it. I'm just throwing a number. Would you believe 50 billion, almost 49.9 billion will believe that mess? Oh, yes. People wouldn't, they don't see nothing. But it's a good thing, because when I think of it like that, I think about, wait a minute, you orchestrated this from the kingdom. So it's still going your way. Yes, Deborah, it is. Let them go their way. Okay? Let them go their way, because my way is already written. So here, I like that, because that's what he was explaining. That makes a lot of sense to all the world as a witness. That means that light he's pulling out of darkness is the power of who he is. They don't believe, Deborah, that there's earthquakes and pestilence and famine and all this. It's happening all over the world. America ain't gonna see it. They thought that SNAP being cut off was it. They just gave you a little taste, baby, to see your reaction, and you didn't give them that. So you wait and see what's coming next. Everything they have done, even with this COVID, is all to see how the people in this country will react. And what did they do? They got chained in, bondage. They walked straight into prison, cell, without saying a word. That's what they have mastered in this country. They mastered it. The people hadn't said a word about them raising all these prices in this country. And at the same time, you over there partying hardy, and you sending all this money. You say you're sending this money over there and over there. What the rest behind when all you have to go down on the machine and make money? But then you're going to stop these people from getting food stamps to buy food, which is no money. It's paper you made. That's all it is, y'all. Why isn't the people who got any sense to see it? Because, Deborah, the light is coming out of the darkness. It ain't coming out to help them see. So let them stay in darkness. You just going to bring my word out. That's what he's talking about in Matthew 24 and 14. The gospel, the power, all of it is going to be dispersed. So everything that's happening is still a part of the gospel. The power of Yah allowing these things to come upon the earth. And then, and the whole world seeing it. And they got their mouth closed to it. Because they know it was the prophecy, and they don't want nobody to know it's a part of the prophecy. But it's going to be all seen in a minute. Just hold up a little while longer. So when I get to Daniel, in the book of Daniel, chapter 6, We're still talking about, can one be saved and lost? Can one be saved and lost? I wonder, can somebody answer that? Can one be saved and lost at the same time? The book of Daniel, chapter 6. The book of Daniel, chapter 6, verse 26. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom, man tremble and fear before Yah, before the Yah of Daniel. For he is the living Yah, who steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be forever until the end. Okay, let me see if that's my right verse. Am I in the right place? Daniel chapter, I don't know where I got that one, but it's in there. Daniel chapter 6 and verse 26. Did I do that right? Yep, I did. I guess I did. Okay. I don't know where they come from, but I make a decree that every dominion of my kingdom, men tremble and fear before Yah of Daniel. For he is the living Yah and steadfast forever. His kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even until the end. Okay. I didn't know. That was supposed to connect to Matthew 24, but I don't know where that. Now let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 1. This is going to get real deep because it's going to leave a lot of y'all loony. Yes, it is. To tell the truth. To tell you the truth. It's going to leave you out there. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 9. And it reads in verse 9. 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 9. Who has saved us and called us with a holy calling. Saved us and called us with a what? A holy calling. Those that are what? Saved. So the question again is, can one be saved and lost at the same time? That means that, can you be saved but yet lost at the same time? When that man had that title, it just done something to me, because I wanted to hear his outcome, but his first part sounded good. But then as I got into like the third and the fourth minute, to me, he was going on a side that he can justify what he was saying, but he couldn't, because the Ruach was saying something to me. He said, put that down. We're going to reword it, and we're going to talk about this. I'm going to teach you something in this. I learned today. This is my learning day, as every day. And it says, can one be saved and lost at the same time? Now, when you get to, when you get to 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 9, it says, who has saved us? So, how is it that Yah saves us? And if Yah save us, it says in verse 9, and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works. See, not according to our works. Our works meaning what we do in our flesh. Our works is what we do in our flesh. But according to his own purpose and grace. There go grace again. There go grace. His favor, which he's given us in the power, even the Son of Man, before the world began. So saved We were saved, y'all. We were saved. We were saved before the foundation of the world. And the question again to you all, can one be saved and lost at the same time? Listen again to 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 9. Who have saved us and called us with a holy calling. There you go. Saved us, called us, and we are holy. Okay? Not according to our works. Setting aside our flesh. It's not because of the flesh, but according to his own purpose and grace. Notice it, his own purpose and grace followed it. Okay? Which was given us in Christ, which is the power, which is the Son of Yah, the Father's Son of Yah, Yeshua, before the foundation, no, it isn't, before the world began. You see how they would bypass that? Because there's nothing in them to break that down. That's letting you know we weren't saved because of us and how we came to Yah, or what we believe, or how we accept him, how we praise him, how we exalt him, how we magnify him. It was what he had in us, the gift of grace, save, faith, fear, righteous, and belief. It was what he had invested in us. Same thing about the Gentiles. I tried to explain to y'all, the Gentiles don't have to answer to us. Woo, Father, woo. They don't have to answer to us. But they can't have that hate for us. I can tell you that. They ain't going to no kingdom. They don't have to answer to us, but they can't hate us. Like Cain hated Abel. You see? So therefore, they are grafted in by grace and belief. You see? They got branded that way in the kingdom, y'all, not on the earth. So they got to return because they are branded. But they won't return. If any level of hate toward the people of Yah. But do they have to answer to us? No. Who are we? See, we keep forgetting. This stuff started in the kingdom, not on the earth. We keep making it about us. We the people, we the people. Sit your tail down. You right. People, flesh. Okay? So I like that 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 9, because he's letting you know there again who have saved us. Who? Yah. And called us. Who? Yah. And called us holy. Who? Yah. According to his own purpose and grace. Who? Yah. Which was given us in Christ. In Christ, meaning Hamashiach. That's that power. Okay. I can go on and on and on and on with this save, but I'm going to go on in and step into what is even greater. I'm going to only go to Romans chapter 10, and then we're going to go into the part that says lost at the same time. Can we be saved and lost at the same time? I'm glad the Father allowed me to bring that forth, because it makes me feel really good, because if he can bring something forth that is not really giving Yah the glory and really pinpointing what Yah wants to bring as far as light out of it, I'm glad he gave me the opportunity, because giving me that opportunity, it made me have even more in my backpack, more spirit and truth in my spirit and in my backpack, because this is a lesson that's very, very powerful. Now, in Romans chapter 10 and verse 9, and we're going to stop there, and then we're going to go into lost. Okay? Romans chapter 10, verse 9. In Romans chapter 10, verse 9, it says that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth Yeshua, and shall believe in thy heart that Yah has risen him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. That hangs every religion from their doorposts. That hangs them right there. And I know none of y'all understand what that means. Let's go into it again. Romans chapter 10, verse 9. That if thou shalt confess with thy mouth Yeshua, and shall believe in thy heart that Yah has raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. The saved ones, let me go and take you there. What he said, the saved one can confess the truth. Woo! Only the saved. What do you mean, Deborah? The saved knows that Yeshua, watch this here. When you can confess with a mouth, that's why a lot of people don't understand when he's saying confess with your mouth. They don't understand that. Because it's what's coming out of your mouth, from your spirit. Do you confess truth? It's not what you take in, but what you bring out. Because the Ruach lives in us. And he's saying here, when we're able to confess with the mouth, bring what is in the spirit out to the mouth and confess that Yeshua and shall be believed. That means you got to believe with it. The heart, in thy heart. That's in that spiritual heart. He ain't talking about that flesh heart that pumps blood and give you bone marrow and all that. He talking about the spiritual heart. Watch this here. That Yah has risen him from the dead. Hold up. Now, I'm going to say this here. This is where I said, people be careful trying to teach. Because right here in Romans chapter 10, verse 9 is a very power puncher. That is a very power puncher. And what I'm learning is it's deeper than even I thought it would be. Bringing light out of darkness, the midst of darkness. Because right here, let me break that down. And when I break it down, now one of you going to get it. You're going to get it when I say it, but you ain't going to see it while you're reading it. That's why I say it needs Yah. When the Ruach comes in you and teach you, you got it. Okay? And when it teach you, you should know what I'm about to say. Let me break it down, because the Spirit already let me know you're a long ways from home from that. Now watch this. Romans chapter 10 and verse 9. It says that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth. First thing, somebody like me, I'll be in the wilderness saying, but Father, the mouth is the flesh. But Deborah, to pour truth out of that mouth, that's the confession I'm talking about. Let me open the door for my son. Okay, now watch this here. With thy mouth that Yeshua shall believe in thy heart. The heart that he's talking about, believe in thy heart, that's not your natural heart. That bone marrow, that blood running, that all that ain't the heart. He's talking about spiritual heart. That Yah has raised him from the dead. Now, let me tell you what's wrong with that. So much in that to where it's wrong that it never been taught properly. This will break up every religion that's on the face of the earth. Because you know what this tells you right here? He said, there should be a confession in you that comes out of your mouth. Not a confession that you have to go somewhere and confess to somebody. Y'all missing it. It's a confession of the heart. It's a confession of the heart that believe that Yah has risen. Notice who risen. Notice who risen him. Notice who risen him. Who did he risen? Yeshua from the dead. Didn't they tell you Yeshua risen himself? So he's sitting here telling you Christ, who I am, to come when I came in the flesh of man, which is the Son of Yah. I was the Emmanuel, Yah with you. I came as my beloved, the Son of Yah. I rose him up. But if you cannot confess it, and the confession has to come from the spiritual heart, and the spiritual heart must know that Yah risen him from the dead. Deborah tell him. He said, anybody that knows that, those are the saved ones. Those are the saved ones. Those are the only one that's saved. So can everyone be saved? No. Can one be saved and lost at the same time? Can one be saved and lost at the same time? Right here, what it's saying, Yah is saying a handful with this message right here. Because he's saying a lot of them don't understand because they go up and say, yeah, I believe that Jesus Christ is Lord and that he was risen from the dead. No, that's not what he's asking you to say. He's not asking you that, y'all. He's not asking you that. He's asking you, can you confess? Can you confess and believe in thy heart where the confession come from? That Yah, God, has raised Yeshua from the dead. Deborah tell him, thou shalt be saved. Same thing Peter did. When Yeshua asked him, who is I am? He told him, the Son of the living Yah. What are you saying, Deborah? I'm telling them right here, they still don't know where I'm coming from. Let me tell you why I know you ain't coming from. You don't know where I'm coming from. Because when it says, and you believe it in your heart, you thinking I'm saying that Yah has risen him from the dead. Yah wants you to understand that it's not the focus on Yah, but it's the focus on my power. You see, has risen. That's how, risen from the dead with the power of who he is. When you're able to confess that, you saved. And the confession is not your mouth. It's what's in your heart, your spiritual heart. Not your heart that pumps flesh blood for your flesh. It's the spiritual heart where the one that he knows is saved knows what I'm talking about. And see, they'll say they know, but they still don't get it. Because he's trying to get you to understand when you know my power. When you know my power, then you know me. And if you know my power, you have my brand belief. If you know my power, you have my brand grace, my brand faith, fear, belief, and righteous. You got it. Confess that bad boy. But the confession has to come from somewhere. The heart, the spiritual heart, where the truth resides. and live and abide. So that flesh can confess it out of the mouth. Tell that world about my power and how, this is what he's saying. Tell that world about my power and how I, the Most High Yah, through my only begotten Son, which my power came down, my word and my spirit, I raised the Son of Man from the dead. 99.9 couldn't confess that because they didn't know it. Now they said it because Sister Deborah just said it, but he's just showing you that alone is a part of what I tried to been teaching for the last 7 years. You say you know him. Oh, I got my keys. I know I'm saved. I know I'm full of them. He's telling you, you better dig in the inner man and get out of that outer man, because you confessing with your fleshly mouth, your ugly mouth. But what's down in you? Do you have my brand belief? Is it in your spiritual heart? That's what he's talking about. He's talking about your spiritual heart. 99.9 wouldn't even think he'd be talking about that. Okay, from the dead, thou shalt be saved. He said, you know, you're the one that's going to be saved. They don't know nothing about that, Father, y'all. They can't even handle that. That's why I say they need to go to the world and abide there, where they can get the comfort they need for all their itchy ears to make their itchy flesh feel really good. Now, the question is, can one be saved and lost at the same time? Now we're finna find out something. This is where you're gonna find out something. Psalms 91 and 11. This is where we're finna get in here, and you finna see something here. And then Sister Deborah, when she finished with this one, she's gonna break that thing down. Can they be lost? In Psalms 91 and verse 11. In Psalms 91 and verse 11, it reads, "For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways." Can one be saved and lost at the same time? Can one be saved and lost at the same time? Psalms 91, verse 11. "For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways." Genesis chapter 3, verse 24. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 24. In Genesis chapter 3 and verse 24. "So he drove out man, and he placed at the east of the garden of Eden of cherubim a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life." Even though he took Adam and them out of the garden and drove man and place to the east of the garden of Eden of cherubim, and a flaming sword. He made sure he put a flaming sword. He made sure he put a flaming sword. He made sure he put a flaming sword, which turned every way, left, right, south, east, north, west. That what? To keep the way to the tree of life. Come on with it, Deborah. Now let's go to Psalms 34. Psalms 34. Can one be saved and lost at the same time? Now we come in Psalms 34. Psalms 34 and verse 7. Psalms 34 and verse 7, and it reads, "The angel of Yah encamped round about them that fear him, and delivered them." Can one be saved and lost at the same time? Psalms 34 and verse 7. The angel of Yah encamped round about them that fear him and delivered them. Keep pushing, Deborah. Luke, the book of Luke, chapter 4. So we're going Luke chapter 4 and verse 10, 11, and 12. The book of Luke, Luke chapter 4, verse 10, 11, and 12. For it is written, he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee. And wait a minute, hold up. Where's that at? It's written, Deborah. Let them know it again. It is written. Verse 10. For it is written, he shall give his angel charge over thee to keep thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy feet against a stone. Now watch what verse 12 says. And Yeshua answered and said unto him, it is said that thou shalt not tempt thy Yah. Thou shalt not tempt thy Yah. Now, they were tempting him regarding, it is written. This was Satan tempted him. He was saying to Satan, it is written, it is written, it is written. So Satan called himself, playing it back onto him. And he said in verse 10, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee. And in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy feet against a stone. And Yeshua answered, said unto him, it is said, thou shalt not tempt thy Yah. See, he's telling him, you telling me how Yah will keep me just because I know he gonna keep me? It is written that I'm not supposed to tempt him because I know he will keep me. How about that? In a sense, you ain't gonna tempt me to tempt my Yah, even though I already know he's gonna keep me. You see, Satan thinking he's pulling another wool over his head and getting him to do what he wanted him to do. By assuring him that Yah got you, he got angels watching over you. Yeshua already knew that. I know that. But I don't need to tempt him because of what I know, or try him at what I know he got me covered with. Why am I going to play with him like that? But that's what people do today. That's exactly how people do today. That is exactly the way people are today. So now, watch this here. Let us now go to Luke chapter 19. Let's watch this here. In the book of Luke chapter 19 and verse 10, and it reads, for the Son of Man come. No. For the Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which is lost. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Can one be saved and lost at the same time? Luke chapter 19 and verse 10. Yeshua said, for the Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which was lost. Was lost. So, can one be saved and lost at the same time? Okay. The next verse is coming. Luke 15 In Luke 15, verse 4 through 6. In the book of Luke, chapter 15, verse 4 to 6. What man of you, having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, do not leave the 99 and 9 in the wilderness and go after that which is lost until he find it. That's another example of a parable showing you how heaven is like unto. If a man had 100 sheep, and if he loses one of them, do not he leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after that which is what? Lost, which is what? Lost, which is what? Lost until he find that one that's lost. So can a one be saved and lost at the same time? Luke chapter 15, verse 24. In Luke chapter 15 and verse 24, it says, for this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to be merry. That was when what was it? The son had left his father's, and his father had gave him his inheritance. He wanted to leave from among his father. That is also a parable. And his son came back into the fold, meaning back to his father's house. Okay? And it says here in verse 24, for my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to be merry. He was lost, but he was lost and is found. Okay? Can one be saved and lost at the same time? Okay? Luke chapter 15 and 32. This is going to be the last verse. Luke chapter 15 and verse 32. And it reads, speaking on that same level, it was meet that we should make merry and be glad, for thy brother was dead and alive and is alive again, and was lost and is found. Can a man be lost? Can one be saved and lost at the same time? When that man was doing that video, he was talking some pretty good things, and it sounded like he was going in a direction to truth. How can one be saved from the kingdom? How can one be saved from the kingdom and lost on the earth? How can that be? Is there a such thing as being saved? One being saved and lost at the same time? No. You can't be lost once you're saved. Being saved is not something you're going to buy a little dog and he's lost and you're putting all kind of signs up for lost dog. That's that trash in the flesh. Only one came for the lost, and that was Yeshua HaMashiach. Once he came, died, the Father risen him up. It redeemed us back to the fold. We was just lost, but lost away from Yah. And that's the whole idea of the Messiah coming to redeem us back. But to say that we saved, but yet now we still lost down here, you're lying. Ain't no such thing. That's how, I'm gonna show you how, and that's how he try to make it look like it, that you can play both sides. You can't, baby. You can't be saved in heaven and you're lost down here. That's what everybody's doing. That's why you have so many denominations, so many different religions, so many different beliefs, so many different creators, so many different gods, so many different everything, so many different spirits, so many different everything, so many different heavens, so many, different earth. But just think of that. Who is it that are lost from Yah? Don't he see everything? Don't Yah see everything? So if heaven saved you, how could you be lost if heaven doesn't save you? He tells you, you saved before the foundation of the world. The whole idea for Yeshua HaMashiach to come down to clear up the loss and make them, and not make them, and redeem them back to the Father. After that, not one of Yah's is lost. Not today. All because of Yeshua HaMashiach. The death, the burial, and the resurrection redeemed us back to the Father. But see, that's the area also nobody don't want to reach, no one want to deal with, because doing it that, when you hear it that route, it shows you it had nothing to do with the flesh. It had nothing to do with the earth. It has to do with what the heavens had the Son of Man and the Son of Yah to come down here, one to die and one to raise the other one and redeem us back to the Father. What do you mean? What he got you written? When death, burial, and resurrection was coming for the lost. Remember, Yeshua said he came for the lost. You see? So he redeemed Yeshua HaMashiach. He came for the, let me see, what verse was that? Luke 19. Let me see how he said it so I can say it exactly like he said it. Luke 19, and I think it's 10. I don't know if that's the verse, 19 and verse 10. In the book of Luke, chapter 19 and verse 10, for the Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which was lost. Notice what it says he came to do. He come to seek and to save. Why? Because the whole mission, before he came on the scene, we were lost. We were lost before he came on the scene. But once he came and the Son of Man and the Son of Yah complete the whole mission, and the mission was to take the lost ones. How did they get lost? How did they get lost? They got lost from the kingdom because they got down here on the earth and did the things that the worldly people did and become the way of the world. But Yah redeemed them back through the death, burial, and resurrection. The resurrection was rising up to destroy death that had a hold on us that was lost. The world wasn't lost. The people in the world wasn't lost. Only the lost that came from the heavens. Not the ones that came that's on the earth, that's in the broad gate. No. And that's where it's messed up at. Because what I just said is the clear shot of how, exactly how I tell you, people, we standing around And they thinking that they're going to get somewhere right where they at, and they got everything they need, and they already know they clocked in. They remind me of the parable of the hirer. They were hired, and they was wanting to get more than the one that came later, because the later one did the work. The other one wouldn't go in to do the work. And those who had worked longer felt that they should get more because they have been on it for a longer time. And he said, no, everybody's getting the same thing. Even those who came later. Yah is saying to you, you're gonna be just treated just as good as those who came earlier. And who do you think he's talking about? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, David, Solomon, all of them. You're gonna be just as good as they are. You're gonna get exactly what they're gonna get in the kingdom. I know a lot of people want to put these men up on the pedestals and they're gonna get this and but when it all said and done, it's not creating not all them seats for all them to be in the kingdom like that. When they rewrote this book, they wrote it up and they wrote it down. They added, they took away, and they smeared it to be able to manipulate these people in this country. And they did a good job. So being lost, you saved, but yet you lost. So what are you saved from if you lost? And if you lost, how could you be saved? And if you're saved, how can you be lost? You know what it is? People are living a hypocrite life. And they're playing all the roles for what it's worth. And they have convinced themselves while walking straight into the broad gate. A lot of people don't understand what the broad gate is. Because a lot of people say, well, I ain't walking in a broad gate. I ain't over there. There's all them people. I don't follow the multitude, baby. You got it wrong. You got it bent. It's not the multitude. You got to understand what the broad gate is. It's a way that doesn't really serve Yah. It's the way that don't worship him. It's the way that you can't find, you don't have nothing invested in you. Just sitting. And like he said, it's not your works, meaning your natural works, but your spiritual works. Why would he give you spiritual work or and cause you to labor and serve him and then say, not your works? He's right. Not your fleshly works, but the things I have invested in you is your spiritual works. They work for me. I created them in you. But those other works that many people standing around looking all cockeyed think that, hey, I can stand on the outside, I can do this, and I'm in there. Good luck. Because the hour, the day, the time, and the minute is what you're going to be riding on. And I thank the Most High for this lesson, because this lesson has been a beautiful, beautiful one for me, because I learned a whole lot. One cannot be saved and lost at the same time. You can't come down on this earth and he wrote you in the book to be saved, and you down on the earth doing nothing but saying, I'm written. I'm going to the promised land. That's the mindset of the world. That's why Noah couldn't tell the people nothing, because they had that same mindset. That's why in Lot, they had that same mindset. All of them wanted to do what was wicked, because they was following the multitude all the time, because they wasn't doing nothing spiritual. See, that's what people didn't understand in Solomon and Gomorrah. That's what they didn't understand in the day of Noah. They did not understand. None of the people was about the Father's business. None of the people was serving Yah. What part of it y'all don't get? Every imagination and thoughts of them was wicked and evil. Why would it want you to know all their thoughts and their doings, their feelings, and their action was wicked and evil? Come on, couldn't one pull up? I would have liked the idea one. Like the 12 disciples with Yeshua. 12 go good. At least 12. out of what? Probably billions. 12 is still a good number. But people today, they thinking they in because they mouth say they in. That's what they think. But that's the reality of why he connect. Why is it connecting us to Noah? Why is it connecting us to Sodom and Gomorrah? Wicked and evil of the minds of men and women. Continue. Another part that people ignore. What would be the purpose of telling us that, Father, y'all? At the end, it's going to be like the days of Noah and the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. Because the same mindset going to be in them. A lot of people say, well, no, not me. We over here. No. People are following the multitude because they're not following Yah. That's when you know you're following the multitude. It's when you're not following Yah. You want to claim you in there, you holier than thou, you got the Ruach HaKodesh, I got my tickets to the promised land, I got my, I know I got the keys to the kingdom, but what are you doing with them? Outside of sitting down, keeping up chaos in the family, in your community, in your job, everywhere you're going. But yet you said you in there. What are you doing? You see? So I thank the Most High for the message. Can one be saved and lost at the same time? No. But they play it for all it's worth. They lost and calling themselves saved. Shalom, shalom. I appreciate you in the live chat. It's good to see you. Yeah, twisted mindset. Woo, that's a good. I would have never thought to say that, but that's sure right. Twisted mindset. And they think they're going somewhere. Good luck with that. So I, Sister Deborah, appreciate you in the live, and I will be back. Shalom and shalom.